The thunder cracked like a whip across the endless Texas plains, splitting the sky in two and unleashing a torrent that turned the parched earth into a churning sea of mud. Lightning flashed, illuminating the herd of 1,000 longhorns stampeding in blind panic, their hooves pounding the ground into froth as the storm's fury drove them toward the jagged cliffs of Devil's Drop. In the heart of it all rode Harlan Blackwood, the richest rancher this side of the Rio Grande, his slicker plastered to his skin, his horse bucking wildly beneath him. He fired his revolver into the air, desperate to turn the lead steers, but the wind swallowed the shots like whispers. One wrong move, and his entire fortune, built from nothing but grit and gunpowder, would plunge into the abyss. And then, out of the blinding rain, she appeared. A lone rider on a ghost-white mare, cutting through the chaos like a blade through flesh. Harlan blinked the water from his eyes, sure it was a hallucination born of exhaustion. No woman, no person, could ride into this hellstorm unscathed. Yet there she was, her dark hair whipping like a raven's wings, her figure cloaked in a oilskin coat that hid her form but not her purpose. She didn't shout, she didn't need to. With a flick of her reins and a low, eerie whistle that pierced the gale, she flanked the herd's edge, her mare dancing through the mud as if on solid ground. The cattle, wild-eyed and frothing, began to veer, following her lead as if she were their queen. Harlan's heart slammed against his ribs. Who was she? A spirit? A thief? Or something worse, come to claim his soul in this biblical deluge? He spurred his horse forward, closing the gap, but the storm fought him every inch. Lightning struck a nearby cottonwood, exploding it into splinters that rained down like shrapnel. His mount reared, throwing him into the muck, and as he scrambled up, choking on dirt and rain, he saw her circle back. She leaned low, her hand extended, pulling him onto her saddle with a strength that belied her slender frame. "Hold on, rancher," she murmured, her voice like smoke over embers, "or you'll lose more than your cows tonight." They rode together then, her guiding the herd away from the cliffs, toward the safety of the high ground where his ranch hands waited, oblivious to the miracle unfolding in the dark. By dawn, the storm had broken, leaving the sky a bruised purple and the land steaming like a fresh grave. Harlan's cattle milled in the corral, exhausted but alive, every last one. His men, a rough crew of cowboys who'd seen blizzards and bandit raids, stared in awe as he dismounted, the mystery woman vanishing into the mist as quickly as she'd come. "Boss," muttered old Jeb, his foreman with a scar from ear to chin, that weren't natural. She turned like she spoke their language. "You reckon she's one of them witches from the Badlands?" Harlan didn't answer, his mind reeling. He'd built Blackwood Ranch from a single stolen calf during the war, fought off Comanches and cattle barons alike, but nothing prepared him for this. Who saves a stranger's herd in the dead of night, asks for nothing, and rides away? It had to be a trick, a setup for something bigger, something deadly. He spent the next days searching, riding the trails with his Colt heavy on his hip. Whispers spread through the dusty town of Dry Gulch. A woman rider seen ghosting the outskirts, her face hidden by a wide-brimmed hat, her mare faster than any Mustang. Some said she was an outlaw's widow, others a runaway from a Mexican hacienda. Harlan offered a reward, $50 gold, for information, but the saloon talk turned suspicious. "Watch yourself, Blackwood," slurred the barkeep, sliding him a whiskey. "Women like that don't save, they curse." That night, as Harlan nursed his drink by the fire in his sprawling ranch house, a knock echoed through the empty halls. He grabbed his rifle, heart pounding, who dared approach after dark? Opening the door, there she stood, silhouetted against the moonlit prairie, her coat discarded to reveal a simple calico dress clinging to her like a second skin from the lingering damp. Her eyes, green as prairie grass after rain, locked onto his. "You looking for me, Mr. Blackwood?" she said, her voice carrying a faint lilt that hinted at places far from Texas. Harlan stepped back, gesturing her inside, his mind screaming trap. "Who are you?" he demanded, not offering a seat. "And why'd you save my herd? Ain't no one does that for free." She smiled faintly, a curve that hid more than it revealed. Call me Eliza. And maybe I had reasons of my own. That storm could have wiped out half the valley, yours included. Figured one good turn might earn me a place to lay low. Lay low. Harlan's suspicions ignited like dry tinder. He poured her a drink, watching her every move. She sipped slowly, her gaze roaming the room, the silver spurs on the mantel, the map of his vast holdings pinned to the wall. You're a powerful man, she observed, but power draws enemies. Ever wonder if that storm was more than nature's wrath? His blood ran cold. Storms didn't target men, but rustlers did. Poisoned waterholes, cut fences, he'd seen it all. Was she implying sabotage? Or was she the saboteur, worming her way in? Speak plain, he growled, hand inching toward his gun. Eliza leaned forward, her whisper like a serpent's hiss. I saw tracks before the rain hit, boot prints leading to your fence line. Someone cut it, drove your herd toward the drop. If I hadn't been there. Harlan's world tilted. Betrayal? From whom? His mind raced through faces, Jeb, loyal for decades, young Tommy, the greenhorn with hungry eyes. Or maybe rivals like Silas Thorne, the snake-eyed baron from the next county who'd sworn vengeance after Harlan outbid him on prime grazing land. He pressed her for details, but she evaded, her story shifting like sand. I was just passing through, she claimed, fleeing my own troubles. A bad marriage, a worse husband chasing me. But her hands were calloused like a rider's, not a housewife's, and the way she eyed his safe in the corner made his gut twist. That night, as she slept in the guest room, Harlan barricaded his door, sleep evading him. Was she his savior or his doom? The next morning brought chaos. A rider galloped in, face pale as death. Boss. The north pasture, fenced down again, and 20 head missing. Harlan saddled up, Eliza insisting on joining. I know these hills, she said, mounting her mare with ease. They rode hard, the sun beating down like Judgment Day. Tracks led into the canyons, fresh and deliberate. Harlan's rage boiled, whoever it was, they'd pay in blood. But as they crested a ridge, shots rang out, bullets whizzing past like angry hornets. Ambush. Harlan dove behind a boulder, returning fire, but Eliza, damn her, charged forward, her own pistol appearing from nowhere, barking lead into the shadows. 2 men fell, writhing in the dust, their faces unfamiliar, hired guns, no doubt. The third fled on horseback, but Eliza pursued, her mare closing the gap in a blur. Harlan watched in shock as she leaped from her saddle, tackling the man to the ground, her knife at his throat. Who sent you? She snarled, voice feral. The thug spat blood. Thorne. Silas Thorne. Said Blackwood's time was up. Harlan approached, tying the man, his mind whirling. Thorne, yes, it fit. But how did Eliza fight like that? No ordinary woman handled a gun with such deadly grace. You ain't who you say, he accused, grabbing her arm. She wrenched free, eyes flashing. And you ain't asking the right questions, rancher. Maybe I'm here to save you from more than storms. Back at the ranch, with the prisoner locked in the barn, Harlan confronted her in the kitchen, the air thick with tension. Spill it, Eliza. All of it. She sighed, sinking into a chair, her facade cracking. My real name's Eliza Kane. I was Thorne's scout. He sent me to spy, to weaken you from inside. Cut fences, start rumors. But that storm, it wasn't planned. I saw your herd heading for death, and something changed. I couldn't let it happen. Harlan's fist clenched, betrayal stabbing like a knife. You played me. But she shook her head, tears, real or fake, glistening. Not entirely. Thorne's got bigger plans. He's rustling herds across the territory, building an empire. He wants your land, your water rights. And he's coming tonight, with a posse. Shocking words that hung in the air like gun smoke. Harlan paced, piecing it together. The cut fences, the missing cattle, it all led to Thorn. But Eliza, a traitor turned ally? Or still playing him? He locked her in the guest room, rifle ready, sending Jeb to rally the hands. As dusk fell, the horizon darkened with riders, Thorn's men, torches flickering like demon eyes. Harlan barricaded the house, his men positioned in the barns and corrals. Gunfire erupted, shattering windows, bullets thudding into wood. A cowboy screamed, hit in the shoulder. Harlan fired back, picking off one attacker, but they were outnumbered. Then, a crash from upstairs, Eliza, breaking free through the window, dropping to the ground like a cat. She grabbed a fallen rifle, joining the fight, her shots precise and lethal. "Trust me now," she yelled over the din. Harlan hesitated, then nodded, covering her as she flanked the posse. Together, they turned the tide, driving Thorn's men back into the night. But Thorn himself charged forward, a hulking figure on a black stallion, revolver blazing. "Blackwood. This ends tonight," he bellowed. Harlan stepped out, facing him down, the two rivals in a standoff straight from hell. Lightning, remnants of another brewing storm, illuminated Thorn's scarred face. "You stole my future, Blackwood. Now I take yours." But before he could fire, Eliza rode between them, her mare rearing. "No, Silas. It's over." Thorn's eyes widened in recognition. "Eliza? You treacherous." His shot went wild as she fired, hitting his shoulder, sending him tumbling from the saddle. Harlan finished it, disarming him, binding his hands. The posse, leaderless, scattered into the darkness. In the aftermath, as the sheriff hauled Thorn away, Harlan turned to Eliza, the woman who'd saved his cattle, his ranch, his life. "Why?" he asked, voice raw. She mounted her mare, the first rays of dawn gilding her like an angel, or a devil redeemed. "Because in that storm, I saw a man worth saving. Not for gold, not for land. For something real." She rode off then, vanishing into the horizon, leaving Harlan to wonder if she was miracle or mirage. But deep down, he knew, she'd changed everything, and the West would never be the same. Weeks passed, the ranch thriving under clear skies, but Harlan couldn't shake her memory. Whispers in town spoke of a woman rider helping settlers, righting wrongs like a ghost of justice. He rode out one evening, following faint tracks, his heart pulling him toward the unknown. And there, by a hidden spring, he found her camp, simple, solitary. "Eliza," he called, dismounting. She emerged from the shadows, pistol holstered but ready. "Couldn't stay away," she teased, but her eyes held vulnerability. They talked through the night, truths unfolding like a well-worn map. Eliza's past was darker than he'd imagined. Orphaned young, taken in by Thorn's gang, forced into scouting and schemes. But the storm had been her breaking point, the raw power of nature mirroring the chaos in her soul. Saving the herd was her first act of defiance, saving him, her redemption. "I thought you were a miracle," Harlan admitted, firelight dancing on his face. "Maybe I was wrong. Maybe you're just, human." She laughed softly, a sound like wind through willows. "Ain't we all miracles in our own way?" But peace was fleeting. A letter arrived days later, carried by a dusty messenger. Thorn had escaped jail, vowing revenge. Harlan's blood chilled, the snake wasn't done striking. He gathered his men, fortifying the ranch, but Eliza vanished again, leaving a note, "I'll handle this. Trust me." Suspense gnawed at him as nights dragged on, every shadow a potential threat. Then, gunshots echoed from the canyons, drawing him out with a posse of his own. They found the scene. Bodies strewn like fallen timber, thorns among them, a bullet through his heart. And Eliza, wounded, slumped against a rock, her mare grazing nearby. Harlan rushed to her, cradling her head. "What happened?" he demanded, fear clutching his throat. She coughed, blood flecking her lips. "Ambush, his last play. I tracked him, ended it." But her eyes dimmed, life ebbing. "Was it worth it?" he whispered, tears blurring his vision, a rancher who'd never cried, broken now. She gripped his hand. "For you, yes." And with that, she was gone, her body still in the dawn light. Harlan buried her by the spring, marking the grave with a simple cross. Back at the ranch, he told no one the full truth, letting the legend grow, the woman who saved his cattle in the storm, a miracle sent from above. But in quiet moments, he wondered if miracles came with such pain, such shock. The West moved on, herds thundering across the plains, but Harlan Blackwood was forever changed, a rich man richer in loss. Yet the story didn't end there. Months later, a stranger rode into Dry Gulch, a man with Eliza's green eyes, claiming to be her brother. "She sent me a letter before she died," he said, handing Harlan a folded paper. Inside, words that shattered everything. Thorne wasn't the only enemy. "Watch Jeb, he's been playing both sides." Harlan's world exploded again. Jeb? His trusted foreman. Confrontation came swift, in the barn under moonlight. Jeb confessed, knife drawn, Thorne paid well. "Thought you'd never suspect." The fight was brutal, fists and blades, ending with Jeb face down in the hay, Harlan's gun smoking. Shocking betrayal upon betrayal, Harlan realized Eliza's miracle extended beyond the grave, her final act saving him once more. He sold off parts of the ranch, seeking a quieter life, but the plains called him back. Years on, tales spread of the rich rancher and his ghostly guardian, a woman who rode storms and turned fates. And in the end, Harlan knew, miracles weren't heaven sent, they were forged in fire, blood, and unbreakable will. The wind howled across the Texas Badlands, carrying echoes of thunder long past. Harlan Blackwood, older now, gray streaking his hair, sat on his porch, watching another storm brew on the horizon. Lightning forked, and for a moment, he swore he saw her. A rider on a white mare, cutting through the rain. His heart skipped, suspense eternal. Was it real? Or just the West's cruel trick? He rose, saddling up, chasing the ghost into the night. Because in this land of outlaws and open skies, miracles didn't die, they rode on forever.